My husband and I built a business together for 9 years. The day we signed the divorce papers, I found out he had registered a nearly identical company 6 months earlier. People ask me when I knew the marriage was over. I usually say it was gradual, which is true. What I don't usually say is that the business dying and the marriage dying were the same event, just described 2 different ways. Daniel and I met in our late 20s at a logistics company where we both worked. We were methodical people who liked spreadsheets and hated inefficiency, which sounds like a boring origin story but built something real. We got married in 2013. We launched our own supply chain consulting firm in 2014 with $11,000, 1 client, and a shared Google Drive. By year 4, we had 14 employees and were profitable. By year 7, we had an industry reputation that had taken most of our competitors twice as long to build. I ran operations, Daniel ran client relationships. We kept our roles clean and respected each other's lanes, which is harder than it sounds when you're married to your business partner. I won't pretend the company didn't cost us things. It cost us weekends and vacations, and the version of our marriage that might have existed if we'd had more time to just be people together. But we were building something. That felt like a reason. The marriage started fracturing around year 8. I won't detail the reasons because they're private, and also because they're not the point of this. By the spring of last year, we had agreed to divorce. It was painful, and it was sad, and we were both exhausted, but we were handling it like adults. The bigger conversation was the business. What to do with something we had built together that was still healthy and still growing. We agreed to work with a mediator. We agreed to keep things professional through the transition. I believed him. I want to say that plainly. I believed we were operating in good faith. The divorce was finalized on a Thursday morning in October. We signed the papers at the mediator's office. Daniel and I shook hands afterward in the parking lot, which felt absurd but also appropriate, and I drove home and sat in my kitchen and let myself feel the weight of the day. That evening, a former employee named Grace called me. She had left the company 8 months earlier for a role at another firm. She said she had been going back and forth on whether to reach out and had finally decided she needed to. She told me that 6 months ago, Daniel had contacted her about a new venture, a supply chain consulting firm. Same service model as ours, same target client profile. He had used our client list. She had seen it in a deck he shared with her, and had already signed 2 contracts with companies that had been in our pipeline. He had registered the company in April. We were still married in April. We were still running our company together in April. I pulled the business registry records that night. It took me 11 minutes to confirm everything Grace had told me. The company existed. The filing date was April 7th. I found a LinkedIn page he had kept private until 2 weeks after the divorce was finalized. It was public now. I called my attorney the next morning. What followed was several weeks of conversations about what was legally actionable, what could be proven, what the cost of pursuing it would be versus the likely outcome. The answer, as it often is, was complicated. Some of what he did existed in gray areas. Some of it didn't. We are still working through it. What I can tell you is that the mediation process we went through, the one I participated in honestly, resulted in an agreement that significantly undervalued my stake in our original company, because we both projected conservative forward revenue. Those projections may have been made conservatively on purpose by one of us, because one of us already knew where the major clients were going. I've thought a lot about the handshake in the parking lot, the specific quality of it, how normal he looked. 9 years is a long time to build something with a person. Long enough to believe you know exactly who they are. Long enough to be wrong in a way that takes your breath away.